Good evening, all. Coming from you live from Buca der Bradshaw, and wow, nice tux, Jerome. I apologize for not being there tonight, but I had a BNI event I decided that was more important. Just joking, guys. Let me dive right into the dirt that I have found on Carlos. I decided that having Jerome in charge of finding the dirt on Carlos made as much sense as putting the real Dean Martin in charge of the key of the liquor cabinet. A lot of you don't know this, but I have done some private bodyguard work and investigation work myself in another life. I learned when tracking the diabolical mind, oftentimes it is the information the degenerate gives you on himself that is so damning. So I took the info that Carlos gave me himself. He is a professor and he loves to write. He told me this himself. I went looking for his writings, his papers, a journal, anything. And this is what I found. What I found in these pages is disturbing. I hope there is no children in the audience tonight, and maybe this explains why Carlos is now living with his parents. Here's what I found. Dear Diary, last week I saw something at Juan's Pistol and Laundromat that caught my interest. The occasion was our anniversary, and I was looking for a little something extra for my wife Madeline. What I came across was a 100,000 volt purse-sized taser. The effects of the taser were supposed to be short-lived with no long-term adverse effects to your assailant, allowing her adequate time to retreat to safety. Way too cool. Long story short, I bought the device and brought it home. I loaded 2 AAA batteries in the darn thing and pushed the button. Nothing. I was disappointed. I learned, however, that if I pushed the button and pushed it against a metal surface at the same time, I'd get the blue arc of electricity darting back and forth between the prongs. Awesome. Unfortunately, I've yet to explain to Madeline what that burn spot is on her brand new microwave. Okay, so I was home alone with this new toy, thinking to myself that it couldn't be all that bad with only 2 AAA batteries, right? There I sat in my recliner, my cats Javine and Stephanie looking on intently. Trusting little souls. While I was reading the directions and thinking that I really needed to test this thing out on a flesh and blood moving target, I must admit I thought about zapping Stephanie for a fraction of a second. She was such a sweet cat, but if I was going to give this thing to my wife to protect herself against a mugger, I did want some assurance that it would work as advertised. Am I wrong? There I sat in a pair of shorts and a tank top, with my reading glasses perched delicately on the bridge of my nose, directions in one hand and the taser in another. The directions said a 1-second burst would shock and disorient your assailant. A 2-second burst was supposed to cause muscle spasms and a loss of bodily control. A 3-second burst would purportedly make your assailant flop on the floor like a fish out of water. Any longer than 3 seconds would be wasting the batteries. All the while I'm looking at this little device measuring about 5 inches long, less than a quarter inch in circumference, pretty cute really, and loaded with 2 itsy bitsy AAA batteries. Thinking to myself, no possible way. What happened next was almost beyond description, but I'll do my best. I'm sitting there alone, Javine sitting there with her head cocked to one side as if to say, don't do it, dipsh.
Beep.
Maybe someone should cover Betty Jean's ears at this point. Reasoning that 1 second burst from such a tiny little thing couldn't hurt all that bad, I decided to give myself a 1-second burst just for the heck of it. I touched the prongs to my naked thigh. Holy mother of pearl, weapons of mass destruction, what the hell? I'm pretty sure the rock ran in through the side door, picked me up in my recliner, body slammed us both to the carpet over and over again. I vaguely remember waking up on my side in the fetal position, with tears in my eyes, body soaking wet, both nipples on fire, testicles nowhere to be found, with my arm tucked under my body in the oddest position, tingling in my legs. Stephanie and Javine were making meowing sounds I'd never heard before. One clinging to a picture frame hanging above the fireplace, and the other from a light fixture above my head on the ceiling. Obviously in an attempt obviously I thought Carlos's writing would be better than this. Obviously in an attempt to avoid being slammed by my body, flopping all over the living room. Note to self, if I ever feel compelled to mug myself with a taser, one note of caution: there is no such thing as a 1-second burst when you zap yourself. You will not let go of that thing until it is dislodged from your hand by a violent thrashing about on the floor. A 3-second burst would be considered conservative. It hurt like heck. A minute or so later, I can't be sure as time was a relative thing at that point, I collected my wits, what I had left, sat up and surveyed the landscape. My bent reading glasses were on the mantel of the fireplace. The recliner was upside down, 8 feet or so from where it originally was. My triceps, right thigh, and both nipples were still twitching. My face felt like it had been shot up with Novocaine, and my bottom lip weighed 88 pounds. I had no control over the drooling. Apparently I had pooped myself, but was too numb to know for sure, and my sense of smell was gone. I saw a faint cloud of smoke above my head, which was still coming from the hair on my head. I'm still looking for my testicles, and I'm offering a significant reward for their safe return. P.S. Madeline can't stop laughing about my experience. Love the gift. Now regularly threatens me with it. If you think education is difficult, try being stupid. Hope nobody reads this. P.S.S. I think I will call in sick to Tab in the morning. Love you, Dora. Your man, Carlos. And I guess we know a little more about the real Carlos. Love you, Carlos. Love you, everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there. Good night.